Good morning, everyone who are watching this morning. Welcome to the 8 episodes of the Digital Talk series. My name is Sambat, Deputy Director of the Center for Inclusive Digital Economy at the Asian Vision Institute. The Digital Talk series is a series of webinars hosted by CIDE, which aims to disseminate practical experience and knowledge on various topics related to the digital economy, such as digital transformation, digital entrepreneurship, emerging technology, financial technologies, and others. We share knowledge, raise awareness, and instigate discussions about the digital economy among the Cambodian public through a series of short, highly accessible, and non-technical webinars so that we can contribute to a better understanding about the digital economy and hopefully to Cambodian visions of becoming a high-income country in 2050. Today, we are talking about talent acquisitions and management in the digital age, and I am delighted to have with me one of the leading human resource management and recruitment experts and a coach as well in Cambodia and the region, Mr. Victor La. Victor is currently the CEO of AboutAccelerate Asia, a smart recruitment firm that utilizes talent benchmarking empowered by artificial intelligence to enable companies identify the ideal candidates for the jobs. Before we really start, I would like to inform our audience that all opinions expressed in these sessions by the speakers belong to our speakers and does not necessarily represent the views of AVI. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Sistai and Jimripso, everyone. So firstly, I'd like to really thank CIDE for inviting me as a guest speaker today. And also like to congratulate the team at AVI for your amazing contribution to creating a really inclusive and information sharing ecosystem here in Cambodia. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate and thank everyone for coming by and dropping by to this session today. So,
thank you so much. It's great to have you with us. It's great to have you with us here this morning. We really appreciate your time. So I would like to begin with the first question. Can you very briefly tell us about the activities that your company is doing?
Sure. Yes. So at AboutAccelerate Asia, my background is I come from a tech background and also branding and marketing. However, a couple of years ago, I started working for an HR platform here in Singapore, and then we moved here to Cambodia. And then I saw there's a huge need for how to manage talent and create a really good recruitment system. So this is why we created Accelerate Asia, which focus on AI-driven talent analytic tools to help really SME corporations in various industries to recruit better through our smart predictive recruitment tool. And then from that, we will help company analyze the talent and the team and dynamic culture that they have. And through that understanding, then we're able to manage and strategically create a very powerful workplace or workforce management system for them. And then through that, also, we create a whole complete cycle and to develop and upskill and cross-skill a lot of these talent. So now you're creating a very dynamic company that can grow and be very agile to fit the environment and its current challenges. So this is something that is not available here in Southeast Asia and in particular in Cambodia. So I'm very excited to be able to work with a lot of our partners on this.
Thank you. Can you talk to us about how traditional ways of recruitment works and how is it different from smart recruitment that incorporates technologies into the process?
Yes, so traditional recruitment in general and hiring practices by HR professionals are usually based on looking at CVs and looking and assessing experience and skills on the CV. And also through that, from reports and analytics that we see that a lot of this tend to be very biased. Because what happens is that HR department uses and HR professional tend to prefer to go with their experience and what they know from past experience and past knowledge. But now with the digital transformation and the digital landscape is changing so fast that these skill sets, some of these skill sets are no longer required for some of these roles. And it has really accelerated the need to be adaptive. And this is how it has changed. So with COVID and digitalization here in Cambodia, a lot of companies and HR departments are going through this struggle to find a balance, whether to increase digitalization and how to manage your talent properly through this digital transformation. So, they're giving a mandate to be really agile through downsizing, be more efficient, but yet you need to create people with more multi-skills, cross-skills, and create people with management and critical thinking. That has really changed and really challenged a lot of HR professionals. And through that, basically, there's also another huge area that we found that basically now there's a huge talent gap because of COVID. A lot of these, the senior or middle management were expat that has left Cambodia. And now companies are asking their middle management to step up to the senior level, and they're unable to because of either lack of skill or lack of these strategic and critical thinking factors and soft skills. Yeah, so transitioning to this new world is not easy. And so this is where using different tools and different new processes will allow companies to really retain and develop talent better, especially in the tech sector. So we're seeing a really high rise in the tech sector. And tech skill is at a premium right now. And many companies are competing for the same tech talent and sourcing the tech talent. And the key here is that if a company is able to develop and retain tech talent, that will increase their survival rate because the attrition rate in the new digital economy is going to be huge. I guess the challenge that I see here is that if an HR department or a senior management can really navigate through this talent management and recruitment smartly, then they will be able to be positioned better for success. So that's how
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will get to the company survivals and how to navigate the market in a moment. But before that, I would like you to talk to us about how artificial intelligence is utilized in talent acquisitions and human resource management.
Sure. Okay. A very good question, by the way. That was so in the developed market or in what we call the Western economy, AI is being used to really increase efficiency in terms of sorting out and filtering candidate, finding HR, so then HR team can really focus on the physical side of things, like interviewing and such, and be more productive. However, this other thing that AI can be used for is basically to reduce the amount of biases in the recruitment process. And then also there's other things is passive candidate sourcing. So we can, some of the AI system look at is basically looking for candidates that maybe not looking for a job, but could potentially, so they can approach people more effectively. So that's something that's very interesting. But however, in the Cambodian context, I see some of these AI technology, we're not at a point to utilize these tools efficiently, or we really don't really need to. One thing that can really accelerate and amplify the growth of our talent, this is where I focus on, is basically now we look at talent analytics. So they're using AI to create talent benchmarking and understanding the mapping of your soft skills and also what motivates your team. So this is where that superpower or the power that if you can harness this will allow you to use AI to create and help your HR or your company perform on a different level than your competitors. So due to our relatively young workforce, a lot of inexperience and a lot of lesser skill set that we have. So HR companies and HR professionals are having a very hard time to determine who has really good potential, who might be the superstar that I can hire. So, if you're an HR professional and you can look at the CV, it only has one page and very short description of the task and responsibility. How can you determine how good this person is and what kind of soft skill they have? So this is where HR talent analytics can come in and help you support. And even using these analytics, you can use that insight and use it in your interview to really hone in on whether this person can be adaptable, how good are their communication skills, how good are they in the collaboration, leadership, decisionship. So these are the soft skills that really amplify the strength or what you're looking for, or the skill gap that you need. Okay, so yeah, so that's really important in creating a really dynamic HR process, and to be successful, that AI can really help you.
I want to follow up on what you just said regarding biases and other loopholes that HR professional cannot identify. Cannot identify, and that artificial intelligence can enable firms to identify hidden talents and to develop existing ones so that the company can grow in the futures. So my question is, how accurate and reliable is the AI-driven benchmarking, and is it going to really replace HR professional 10 or 20 years from now, according to your opinion?
According to you'll be surprised with my opinion. Even though I'm really, I'm a pro AI and data. So many people question this, the reliability of AI driven analytics. So with any data analytic, when you have a set of data, it's depending on the data analyst and how well you analyze and you interpret the data, right? So it's a story you tell and how well you can really address the need of whoever, the management or the talent or whatever that you can see. So so that is a challenge for a lot of data analysts and data reporting. However, in reality of it is, it comes to a lot of the data analytics and reporting, it comes to the data set, the size of the data set. So when machine learning and the tools that learn, when you have a big data set, it can be a lot more accurate. So this is where you can really get, and it doesn't matter how good your algorithm is. If you don't have a large data set, it can't learn and it can't be as accurate as it can be. So this is where our analytic tool comes in. So we've been, I use a talent analytic tool that's been around for 20 plus years, and it's used by people around for 180 different countries. So it has been both qualitative and quantitatively researched. So from there, basically in 2016, they moved everything into a platform, a digital platform, to measure attitudes and motivation for basically at that time for founders who have sold businesses between $6 million to $1.5 billion. And other key markers that we look at is also a business builder. So people who are able to successfully guide a company through the growth and scale, and then eventually IPO. So these are the things that is the foundation of this tool. So we look at, even like entertainer or sports stars or business. What's making these people perform at such a high level to be successful? So through that, we're able to understand what are the key attitudes and motivation that can set you apart from your competitor. So using that analytic and benchmark, we can basically now map it towards anyone to see what are your strengths and where are your biases and where are your blind spots. So from that, we can really hone in on what are the key skills that we can really rely on you, and what are the skills or the blind spot that we can develop you. So a lot of companies here in Cambodia or around the world has a lot of workshop and training, but those are really broad strokes. So you're training everybody on the same thing. Whereas, now with digital online learning, if we have these analytics, now we can actually create learning path for each individual to really accelerate and amplify where they want to be, where they want to grow, what role do they want to grow into. And that is a game changer, right? Okay, so that's why, so with this large data set, we're able to use this analytic tool to predict your attitudes and motivation for your work environment that you like to work in to be around 89 to 98% accuracy. So yeah, yeah, it's quite powerful.
Speaking of work environment, I want you to explain to us about how smart recruitments and human resource management enable firms to create a strong team unities and cultures among fellow employees that can help companies manage them better, more effectively, and also to increase their productivities and to create a good work environment.
That is a magic formula for a lot of companies they're looking for, right? So yeah, so using these things, how it can help companies and teams is be able to work more efficiently using data to create better accuracy and better decision making. And yeah, so and then also a lot of the time insight, like I said, insight into your talent pool and who are your superstars and who has potential, and also succession planning and stuff like that. So now you can really tailor the roadmap. Yeah. So what we're doing here with our business partners, we're helping them to recruit and manage their team better. So we act like a HR supporting team. So a lot of companies think, oh, you know what? We don't really need AI assistant or recruitment because we want to do in-house. But the thing here is that the landscape is changing so quickly that some of these companies has thousands and thousands of candidates, but they have no system to manage it. So sometimes we're like, okay, you're looking at candidates, and we give them a candidate, and they're like, oh, this is really good candidate, but we have them in our system already. But then they're like, they haven't even considered that to approach this candidate. So this is the insight that we know. When you look at, you have to really understand the process and how do you create these analytic tools to gain insight into what kind of talent you have currently and what do you need to go out to the market and find and fill in that gap. And also, what we look at is also to create a talent, what we call expanding your dynamic range. A lot of HR, like what I said, is about creating a biases, is that a lot of HR and management prefer to work with like-minded people or hiring people that are the same. However, when you create a working culture like that, you're basically creating a really homogenized or the same of the same. So everybody will tend to agree. So with this, if you create this kind of working environment, you're basically creating a less innovative environment or culture because nobody is pushing the envelope. Nobody's questioning anything. So this is where we're trying to expand this and create this dynamic range in terms of team dynamic. So once we work with that, we can really map out, this is what your team currently look like. Do you need to bring in someone with more innovation? Do you want to bring in someone with more leadership to create this, broaden your dynamic range? And that will create this superpower and this and create this exponential growth for your team. Yeah. So a lot of the time when you ask successful company in the West, what makes a successful company or a successful team, a lot of the time they would say, you know what, it's not the technical side of it. They want to look at the soft skill. So this is where a lot of traditional HR does not have insight into, is how to look at the soft skill. And you can't measure that until they've already been in your company for 6 months to a year, and you can start to formulate this. And so by that time, your hiring is already too late. You already, you already have them on your team already, right? So that's the insight, that data, and what we can do to help.
Thank you so much for your insightful explanations of how artificial intelligence and smart recruitment enable firm to foster a strong team cultures and not only a strong team culture but a diverse team culture, as you just mentioned, which is very important for the firm. Now I would like to circle back to what you said a few moments ago about survivals in today's market. As you know that it's very competitive in this time. Industry 4.0, digital economy, rapid digitalizations of the global economies and local economies. So my question is, how does the use of technologies like AI in recruitment enable firms to compete in today's market?
Mhm. It's a twofold. So yeah, so AI will allow, how will AI enable company to compete? So like I said, once you start working with AI and data, you start to formulate and mapping out a lot of more and have an insight on what does success mean to you? What does what is a successful sales team? You might have, 5 different sales teams, but one is really doing well. But if you're able to map out what is the composition of that amazing sales team, now you can really replicate that, and you can replicate that throughout, and then understand what are the soft skills that are in that team that make it so special. What are the key skill or even technical skill? So this is something that traditional HR will not be able to do. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if you ever heard of Canva. Have you heard of Canva? It's so it's like Photoshop, but it's for online. So it basically, their mission is basically to empower the world to design. So they started in 2012 in Australia by this a partnership between Cliff and Melanie Perkins, and so they started using this tool that we use, the talent analytic tools, to do all of their assessment for their team, what they have in terms of a core team, and also for any development that they need for their team, and then also extending that out to the recruitment side. So any skill gap that they need, they go out and find it, and using the same analytic tool. So using this as an example, how AI can really help accelerate growth of a company and making a better decision is that they're able to really create dynamic culture, dynamic team. So 3 years ago, they were valued at $3.5 billion, okay, USD. And just recently, 2 days ago, they announced that they're the highest or the most profitable and highest valuated private company in the world. And guess what they're evaluated at? 40 billion USD. And through this, and using this is for the scale and growth. So they grew from Australia to the Philippines, and then they moved to growth in China, and they're looking into expanding into to the US. But using the tool, not only they're able to grow and understand and grow their talent, but they're able to map out how will their team work in a different culture, workspace, or cultural environment, such as the Philippines or China. So the same thing, this analytic tool can able to for you to really map. Let's just say, if you want to move to Singapore to work, we can map you and say, how would you fit into a working environment in Singapore? Would you excel, or what would be your amazing strength that you can really highlight? And where would you like to, where would be your blind spot? So same thing. So so this is how they actually grow and scale their company using talent, AI-driven talent analytics. So like anything, there's going to be 2 things in the AI and digitalization world. Is company that's able to embrace technology and using data to really make smart decisions, and companies that are going to be left behind because they're not able to adapt quickly and make this smart decision.
Thank you. I would like to, so we have been talking about the applications of AIs and smart recruitments in the corporate world, in the private sector. Now I would like to look briefly into how AI-driven HRMs and smart recruitment can be beneficial for the government, for government around the world. Do you think that the system can be applicable for recruitments of public officials and at the ministries and other governmental agencies around the world?
Definitely, definitely. So the same thing here is that you're looking at this is a lot of the education. So in terms of education, so in the last 8 months, we started, all of our candidates has to do an assessment. So now through this last 8 months, we're starting to formulate and seeing this really amazing talent pattern in Cambodia. So we're starting to understand what is the working culture of Cambodia. So using this data analytic, we can actually help education ministry to really help their management team or even hire better to find out how does leadership play in, how does critical thinking, how does strategic thinking, how does communication play in these key roles. Also scientists, innovation, tech leaders. How do you, while you are great at the analytics and the technical side of things, but how do you analyze these data and to plan and create an effective strategy? And how do you communicate with different ministries, different members and collaborate? So that's a different skill set. You can be really good academically, but you still need to develop your soft skills. So if you look at, Cambodia's ambitious vision for 2050, or even like the aspiration to attain middle class income by 2030, that those roadmaps, while it says, technology and digital literacy is really important, the biggest thing is human capital management and education. So this is the thing is the only, and we're very fortunate to have such a young median age where we can really make an effective and accelerated learning and development path for these people. But you still need to have that insight. So this is where we can really work with ministry, and having these insight, we can really share that with our various education ministry and department to improve curriculums and programs also. It works really well in the entrepreneurial world.
Thank you. I have one last question, and I would like you to talk to us about how will talent acquisitions and management really look like 5 to 10 years from now in the very short futures in Cambodia and the region?
Very interesting. What it would look like. Like I said, I think they just have this two pace, right? Visualization and skill, the skill matrix is going to really change really quickly. So there's going to be this landscape where it's the survival of the fittest. Whoever is really adapted to digital and using this automation process and utilize digital technology and data to understand their talent and nurture their talent to retain their talent will win that race. I've seen this happen over and over again in the developed world. Company that could be successful today will go out of business, in the next 4 or 5 years because they can't, because of how fast digitalization comes in. And the other thing I look at is also because we're such a young population, you're seeing this growing trend because we do a lot of analytics, like I said. The younger generation are eager and ready to embrace digital change, and they're very passionate about exploring what they're capable of and they want to contribute. However, there's this barrier that we need to break. So my challenge would be for upper management and HR is create a safe environment for these young talented people, and understand who they are and develop them and really empower them to try and really explore their passion. Then this is where you can find new leaders, new innovators, and they will start contributing, because a lot of companies that were, we can't retain talent. How can you help me retain talent? I said, understand your people, create great working culture, especially now and with COVID. I'll tell you an example. This is really good. A friend of mine, a partner of ours working, and he called me up the other day. Said, you know what, Victor, the new talent that you hired for us is really good. I really like him, but now he wants to leave. I'm like, okay, all right, let me have a talk with him and see. And so this is something that's very interesting because everybody's worried about retention and everything, but you don't look at your talent. So all I have to do is really talk to them and listen with an empathetic mind. So this is the thing. Another thing that we like to develop is the soft skill, is the empathy side of things. So all it was that basically I call them up and just say, hey, how are you doing? You know, what's going on? And then listen to them. And then after that, they felt that they're being heard and all their challenges and concerns were being heard and met. And then a day later, the CEO of the company called him again and said, and he said, oh, everything's fine now. See, that's the thing. So this is the skill set that we need as management and team moving forward into the digital age, is that socially we're going to be disconnected, but we cannot forget that. So we have to be more empathetic to our team, understand where where they want to grow, and allowing them to grow. So this is where the EQ is really important, and the culture side of it is really important.
Thank you so much. So this is the end. This is the end of the 8th episode of of the Digital Talk series. I want to thank our guest, Victor, for talking to us this morning. We really appreciate your explanations and your perspective from these particular industries of recruitment and talent acquisitions. I also want to thank our audience for tuning in. If you are looking for more information about our programs or about ABI activities, please subscribe to our Facebook page, Telegram channels, Twitters, and other social media platforms. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope to see you again very soon. Please stay safe and have a nice day.
Bye, everyone.